What if the financial help you desperately need from your parents only arrives after it's too late to change your life? That might sound dramatic, but it's a real dilemma facing many families today. Baby boomer parents are sitting on the greatest wealth transfer in history, and many are willing to share that generational wealth now rather than wait. Yet their millennial children are strangely silent, too afraid to ask for an early inheritance. Why would an entire generation of adult kids hesitate to accept help that could transform their lives? The answer might surprise you. And before we dive in, if you enjoy staying on top of the latest finance topics and debates, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content like this. Let's set the scene. Two financial trends are colliding in America. On one hand, millennials are putting off having kids, buying homes, and other major life decisions, often because of financial uncertainty and student debt. On the other hand, baby boomers, their parents, are poised to pass down trillions in accumulated wealth in the coming years. This is sometimes called the Great Wealth Transfer. It sounds like a solution waiting to happen, right? Parents have money now, and adult kids have needs now. So, why aren't more families simply transferring some of that wealth early, when it could do the most good? Here's the paradox. A recent national survey found 70% of boomer parents expect to leave an inheritance to their children when they die, and an astonishing 76% of those parents said they'd be open to giving at least part of that inheritance early. Yet in reality, only 8% have actually done so. And get this, only 4% of adult children have ever asked for an advance on their inheritance. There's a huge gap between what both generations want to happen and what's actually happening. It's almost like there's an invisible wall between well-meaning parents and the kids who could really use a financial boost. One big reason for this disconnect is simple: money is still a taboo topic. As financial planner Stoy Hall explains, we don't talk about money enough in America. Many parents and their grown children are uncomfortable discussing finances openly. The result? Silence. Adult kids might be drowning in mortgage payments or delaying starting a family, but they have no idea mom and dad want to help, or if their parents even can afford to. Likewise, parents don't always know how much their children are struggling or what their goals are. Most kids don't know how much their parents do have or don't have, Hall says, and that makes it harder. This lack of communication creates fear on both sides. Millennials might worry that asking for money will seem greedy or upset their parents. Boomers, meanwhile, might worry that offering help could insult their kids' independence, or jeopardize their own retirement security if they give away too much. That brings us to the second big reason behind the standoff: financial uncertainty for the boomers themselves. Many boomers want to share their wealth but aren't sure if they can afford it. Remember, this generation is living longer and facing unknown future costs like healthcare, assisted living, and longer retirements. They've spent a lifetime saving diligently, often influenced by their own parents who grew up in the Depression era, and they're used to watching their nest egg grow, not shrink. As financial planner Adam Harding puts it, they grew up prudent and got rich a little bit at a time. They feel uncomfortable seeing the number go the other direction. In other words, even well-off boomers might fear that giving, say, a $50,000 gift to their child today could leave them short decades from now. It's a psychological hurdle. After decades of money management and cautious retirement planning, parting with their savings can feel scary, even if logically they have enough. Harding shares a poignant example of this dynamic. There are people not having families right now because they worry about money, he says, and then someday they're going to be 55 and inherit a huge amount from their parents. The time to have a family will be over, and they'll be wildly rich. It's a bittersweet scenario, an inheritance arriving just a little too late. He calls it a sad development, if an unsurprising one. Imagine being in your mid-50s, suddenly financially secure thanks to your parents' money, but realizing that some choices, like raising children or starting that dream business, are now behind you. That kind of outcome is exactly what many boomer parents hope to avoid by giving money earlier. They'd love to see their children enjoy the money when it truly matters, not when life's big opportunities have passed. So, what's the solution? It starts with open conversations and a bit of planning for both generations. Financial experts say families should break the money taboo and talk openly about their financial situations, hopes, and limits. Boomers who are considering an early inheritance can sit down with their financial planner, or use a retirement calculator, to get a clear picture of their own finances. By mapping out their future expenses and worst-case scenarios, they can figure out how much they're comfortably able to give now. This clarity can be empowering. It's often a huge relief for a parent to learn, for example, that they can gift their child a down payment for a house and still have plenty for their own retirement and healthcare. Sometimes an impartial third party, like a financial planner, helps here, because they can confidently say, yes, you can give your kids $X and still be okay. That reassurance can nudge generous parents into action. And what about the millennial kids? According to Harding, get your own house in order first. In other words, adult children should organize their own finances and show responsibility before asking for help. It's a lot easier to approach mom and dad if you can demonstrate that you're already budgeting, saving, and working toward specific financial goals. You don't need to have every student loan or your mortgage paid off, but you should have a clear plan for paying them, a solid budget, and maybe some savings of your own. This isn't just to impress your parents, it actually gives you confidence and credibility. If you do end up asking for assistance, you can show that any money gifted will be put to good use, not wasted. From a parent's perspective, nothing is more encouraging than seeing their child handle money wisely. What boomers don't want is to gift, say, $20,000 only to watch it fund yearly luxury vacations. As Harding notes, parents would much rather help you buy a home, start a business, or even afford to have another baby, something meaningful that aligns with the family's values and long-term stability. So if you're thinking of asking for help, be ready to explain exactly what you'd use it for and how it fits into your financial plan. Ultimately, both generations may need a gentle reminder of why that money exists in the first place. Why did those boomer parents work so hard to save up their wealth? For many, the answer is simple: to provide for their family. If that's the case, it makes sense to provide when the money can do the most good. As Harding says, if the goal was always to take care of your kids, then why not do it when it can help your kids build the life they want? Early inheritance doesn't mean jeopardizing your retirement. It means carefully planning so you can enjoy watching your children, and maybe grandchildren, benefit from your generosity. And there's an emotional upside for parents too. Imagine seeing your gift help your child buy their first house, or knowing that your financial help enabled the arrival of a new grandchild. In Harding's words, even from a selfish standpoint, giving early so you can have another grandchild seems like a pretty good way to spend your money. In other words, it's a win-win. Parents get the joy of seeing their legacy improve their families' lives, and adult kids get the support when it truly counts. So, why won't millennials ask for that early inheritance? The truth is, it often comes down to fear. Fear of the awkward money talk, fear of appearing greedy or failing as an adult, and even fear of hearing no. Combine that with parents' own worries about money and a lifelong habit of holding on to savings, and it's clear how families end up at a stalemate. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Breaking this stalemate starts with one courageous conversation at the dinner table or over the phone. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but discussing family finances openly can be incredibly liberating. Parents might be relieved to share their plans and limitations, and adult children might be surprised to learn how willing their folks are to help. With transparency, both generations can align on a plan, whether it's an early gift now, or a clear understanding of what to expect later. The key is making sure that when this unprecedented wealth transfer happens, it's on your terms and timeline as a family. That way, the money can support dreams during life's pivotal moments, not afterward. In the end, this is really about family and communication. Money may be a sensitive topic, but it's also a tool, one that, used wisely and timed right, can strengthen the bond between generations and set everyone up for a more secure future. So don't let taboos and fears keep you from having the one conversation that could make a world of difference. As the largest wealth transfer in history unfolds, a little openness and planning can ensure that wealth is shared when it matters most, not just when it's too late. If you found this story insightful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And remember to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into important finance topics and debates. We're here to bring you the latest insights on personal finance, generational wealth, and money management in an ever-changing world. Join our community and stay informed. Together, we can navigate these financial challenges and opportunities. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay savvy.